you ever wondered what the airport will feel like in 2026 when TSA changes completely upend the way we fly, the way we pack, and the way we even think about travel? Picture this: you arrive at your local airport, ticket in hand, carry-on bag neatly packed, or so you thought, and suddenly everything you knew about security lines is gone. It's chaos. People everywhere scrambling, lines snaking through terminals like tangled snakes, and screens flashing warnings you didn't even know existed. And here's the kicker: no one told you about these changes in advance, not airlines, not official TSA announcements, nothing. You step forward, thinking your routine, your perfectly timed, smooth airport ritual is intact, but the new rules hit like a brick wall. First, the screening itself has shifted from a predictable X-ray and metal detector sequence to something that feels more like a science experiment than security. New full-body scanners are scanning differently, analyzing movement patterns, posture, even micro-behaviors, supposedly to detect suspicious activity. Some travelers are stopped for reasons that seem completely arbitrary: tiny tweaks in how they place their bags on the belt, the angle they hold their phone, even a nervous glance at a TSA officer. And here, where it gets worse, the liquid rules. Forget everything you knew. No more small 3.4-ounce bottles. Now they're measuring down to the milliliter, testing consistency, and even asking for chemical breakdowns of every lotion, perfume, and drink you carry. Shampoos, contact lens solutions, hand sanitizers, it doesn't matter. They'll take it, test it, sometimes confiscate it, and you're left standing there, wondering if that small bottle of water you forgot in your bag will ruin your whole trip. And luggage? Oh, luggage. Carry-on size limits are no longer just about dimensions. They're about weight distribution, material density, and yes, even color patterns in some experimental TSA pilot programs. Heavy, wrong material. Pattern flagged as suspicious, bag goes to secondary screening. And get this, the secondary screening isn't just a quick pat-down anymore. Officers may use rapid chemical detection sprays, thermal imaging to check for hidden electronics, and behavioral AI that scores each traveler on a risk matrix before you can even explain yourself. Families, business travelers, seasoned flyers, they're all affected. The elderly, the children, the businesswoman with her laptop bag, they all experience the new TSA in ways that are stressful, confusing, and honestly infuriating. And no, it's not just inside the terminal. Online check-ins have changed too. Pre-check programs. Some are now partially obsolete because TSA uses biometric pre-screening to determine whether you're low risk or not, and it's not transparent how that algorithm decides. Your travel history, social media activity, even patterns from previous trips might influence your screening level. Imagine showing up thinking you're a seasoned, experienced traveler and suddenly being flagged for additional screening because your last 5 flights were to high-risk cities, even if you were on vacation. Then there's the new rule for electronics. Laptops, tablets, and even e-readers now require random verification scans that can take up to 10 minutes each, because TSA wants to ensure no devices are tampered with or contain suspicious components, according to their advanced security protocol. And you can't just hand it off to a bag handler. They want it on a separate tray, facing a scanner in a very specific orientation, sometimes even powering it on for verification. People panic, lines stretch out of terminals, flight announcements come and go while anxious travelers are stuck in limbo. And the new rules for food, yes, food, anything that looks like a liquid gel or even a soft solid is being tested. You thought your homemade sandwich was fine? Think again. Yogurt, pudding, spreads, they're subject to chemical testing. TSA agents may ask you to open containers, sniff, and in some cases discard it entirely. Traveling with children, good luck. Snacks, formula, juice, everything is under scrutiny, and sometimes the officers don't fully explain why. Then there's the clothing regulations. Not only must belts, shoes, and jackets be removed, but certain fabrics are being flagged by new sensors. Yes, your new synthetic jacket that looked stylish last week might trigger an alert. Scarves, hats, even patterned socks. Some travelers report multiple delays because sensors are picking up anomalies, whatever that means. The stress is real, the panic palpable, and yet TSA insists this is for traveler safety. And you start to notice something. No one seems to have figured out a consistent way to navigate these new rules. Travel blogs and forums are flooded with conflicting advice. Some swear by arriving 3 hours early, others by bringing nothing but a backpack. But even then, the AI behavioral scoring can still flag you for additional scrutiny. And don't even get me started on international travel. Customs integration with TSA now means your carry-on, checked luggage, and even your digital devices are all scanned across multiple databases before you even board the plane. Your travel itinerary is cross-checked with international security feeds, previous visa records, and yes, social media footprints. That quiet little airport ritual you had, gone. Replaced by anxiety, uncertainty, and a constant fear that something trivial, your phone case, the snack in your bag, your travel jacket, might stop you from making your flight. And it's not just time wasted, it's money too. Missed flights, extra baggage fees, unexpected confiscations, and the stress that can ruin a whole trip. Even seasoned travelers are reconsidering whether flying is worth it, as word spreads of these new rules. And here's the part no one is talking about. TSA officers themselves are adapting. Some are patient, some are stressed, and some are inconsistent because training is being updated on the fly to match evolving 2026 protocols. That inconsistency alone leads to confusion and frustration. Imagine approaching a line and the officer on the left lets you pass with a small bottle of water, while the one on the right stops you, tests it, and refuses entry. This isn't a rare story, it's becoming the norm. And as airports implement these new technologies, behavioral AI, chemical analyzers, rapid device verification, the very design of terminals is changing. Long lines, more secondary screening areas, expanded security checkpoints, and new signage everywhere that feels overwhelming and almost dystopian. Travelers are forced to learn by trial and error, and some report being rerouted multiple times just to reach their gates. And yet, airlines are largely silent. They provide flight information, boarding times, and baggage rules, but nothing about the full scope of these new TSA procedures. This leaves travelers confused, unprepared, and frankly angry. Some are even reconsidering whether flying is worth it, exploring alternative transportation like trains or road trips. Meanwhile, TSA maintains that these changes are essential for national security, citing threats that are constantly evolving and require dynamic countermeasures. And there's truth in that, but for the average traveler, it feels personal, invasive, and unpredictable. So what can you do? Prepare, yes, but preparation is no longer straightforward. No one has the full playbook. Pack minimally, avoid certain fabrics, leave your liquids at home, expect electronics to be tested, arrive hours early, and pray that behavioral AI doesn't flag you unfairly. It's a mental game as much as a logistical one. And all of this is happening right as 2026 begins, meaning millions of travelers will experience a shock to their routines, disrupting trips, vacations, business travel, and even family visits. And despite the chaos, there's an odd fascination. People are talking about it, sharing stories online, and secretly it's making travel more suspenseful, more unpredictable, some say almost thrilling in a dystopian sort of way. But make no mistake, this is no ordinary change. The 2026 TSA rules are here, they're real, and they will alter your airport experience forever. From microbehavior analysis, biometric screenings, device testing, and strict liquid limits to unpredictable secondary checks, travelers must adapt, or risk missing flights, losing items, or worse, facing unnecessary delays that can completely ruin a trip. And while TSA insists it's all for safety, the reality is a maze of protocols that can feel opaque, frustrating, and sometimes arbitrary. Families, solo travelers, and business people alike must navigate this new era carefully. The airport, once a place of rhythm, routine, and expectation, is now a high-stakes environment where every movement counts, every item is scrutinized, and every decision can affect your travel outcome. And that brings us to the suspenseful truth. No one really knows how these rules will continue to evolve, which airports will implement pilot programs first, or what technologies will become mandatory. Travelers are on the front lines of a massive shift in air travel security, and those who fail to adapt risk more than inconvenience. They risk being unprepared for a fundamentally different travel reality. So next time you step into an airport in 2026, remember, the TSA you knew is gone. In its place is a system that is smarter, more invasive, and more unpredictable than ever before. And while some will find ways to navigate it successfully, millions will face the harsh, frustrating, and eye-opening reality of a new age of airport security that will leave no routine intact, no expectation met, and no traveler unaffected. This is the 2026 TSA experience, and if you think you can prepare fully, think again.